Type 22 fast attack missile boat is a small yet formidable vessel in China's naval fleet. It combines speed, stealth and significant firepower, making it a powerful asset, especially in coastal waters. Over 80 of these boats have been built, and they are designed to operate in groups to unleash large missile salvos, which can overwhelm the defenses of larger ships. Displacing just 220 tons and measuring 42.6 meters in length, the Type 22 is small compared to ships like corvettes and frigates, but its catamaran design gives it stability in rough seas. Powered by 2 diesel engines and 4 waterjets, it can reach speeds of over 40 knots, making it incredibly fast and agile in combat. One of the Type 22's main strengths is its stealthy design. The polygonal superstructure, angled missile launchers and even the serrated window frames reduce its radar signature, allowing it to approach enemy ships undetected. However, like most stealth warships, the Type 22 can still be spotted by satellites. In terms of firepower, the Type 22 punches well above its weight. It carries 8 YJ-83 anti-ship missiles, the same number as much larger frigates, giving it substantial offensive capability. While the YJ-83 is a subsonic missile with a range of 180 kilometers, a large swarm of them can be deadly. If I have to find a shortcoming of the Type 22, it would be about its deficiency in air defense and limitations in terms of communication. Despite its strengths, the Type 22 definitely has weaknesses. It lacks the ability to link directly with aerial surveillance assets, forcing it to use its own radar, which risks detection. Anyway, without further ado, let's step on board the incredible missile attack boat. This particular Type 22 vessel belongs to the East Sea Fleet, part of the PLA's Eastern Theater Command based in Ningbo. In the opening prelude, we are told that because the boat moves very fast and has such a low displacement that it gets thrown around by the sea very easily, most people would get seasick very quickly when they first serve on board without specialized training. This is the training that crew members take to conquer seasickness. They train on these huge spinning wheels which rotate continuously to imitate the effect of seasickness. When new recruits first started, they tended to be able to only withstand about 3 rotations of the wheel. An experienced sailor on the Type 22 will be able to withstand around 10 rotations. In this way, through continuous training, new recruits develop greater tolerance and resistance to seasickness. We then transition to bits and pieces of a live fire exercise. The weapons operators are trying to lock onto a simulated enemy warship. The target is simulated by a red balloon towed by other vessels. We have seen this type of red balloon used for target practice before on the Type 055 destroyer, although that was for the firing of a main naval gun, which the Type 22 obviously does not have. Here, the missile is firing its close-in weapon system, or the CIWS. Unfortunately, the first attempt at firing missed the target, owing to unfavorable sea state and poor weather. The officer in charge of the firing is the second-in-command, Su Ji-bing. We are told that the outcome of this exercise will play a pretty big role in his promotion prospects to captain. If this is true, a lot seems to be hanging on very little in my opinion. Indeed, results matter, but this is only one exercise. However, Mr. Su has only been on the ship for a month. So it might be the case that his chances of being fast-tracked to captain would be affected, which seems more reasonable. The scene then shifted to a group of Type 22 missile boats docking at base. The boats are docked together in pairs to save space. This requires using cables to tether the vessels together, and also the use of these fenders, or floating balls filled with air placed in between the vessels. The Type 22 is a small vessel, so the firing will be badly affected by the ups and downs of the sea. In addition, the target itself is not stationary. The target will also be moved and tossed around by the sea currents. It's all a very moving experience, quite literally. The target may even be hidden by the waves, making it difficult or impossible to track properly. The CIWS for conducting the firing exercise is a licensed-built version of the Russian AK-630M, also known domestically as the H-per Petajule 13, built into the front of the vessel. The AK-630M is designed for close-range interception of anti-ship missiles. It can deal with projectiles flying at an extreme sea skimming altitude. Additionally, it can target helicopters and low-flying aircraft, or even surface targets like small vessels that are nearby. The Type 22's main weapon against enemy warships is of course the 8YJ-83 anti-ship missiles. Apparently, because of its high speed and high levels of firepower given its small size, the Type 22 has the nickname the Flying Shark, not to be confused of course with the J-15 Flying Shark, the carrier fighter. To achieve the high speed, the vessel is built out of aluminium composites, which substantially reduces its weight. The 4 waterjet propulsors and the wave-piercing design also help of course. Su Zhibing and his crew, as well as volunteers from other vessels, spent the evening before the exercise inspecting and preparing the H-per Petajule 13 for firing. The weather forecast for the day of the exercise isn't looking great, unfortunately for Mr. Su and his crew. On the big day, our heroes departed the pier side very smoothly. The process was done faster and better than what they had done before. It reflects the crew's growing skills and experience, a good start to the day, but the weather isn't looking too good as you can see. The waves are getting bigger, and a few of the newer recruits have already gotten seasick. In the kitchen, the cook is preparing a nutritious meal, probably lunch, for the crew. Indeed, despite the small size, the Type 22 has its own kitchen. It's a very small kitchen compared with large warships. Around an hour later after the meal, the live firing was underway. As battle stations was announced, the crew members went their combat posts. Apparently, they get 2 chances at firing. Why is that? I'm not too sure. It's probably just to add an element of challenge. Sure enough, the red balloon, the target, was sighted, and sighted early, which gave them more time. However, because of the rough sea state, they constantly lost track of the target, which doesn't bode well for the firing. 1 minute before the time limit, they finally got a reliable track on the balloon. And there's the first burst from the CIWS. However, as the dust settled, the first burst appears to have missed completely. This made everyone nervous and time is running out. A mere 20 seconds before the deadline, they lined up the CIWS to the target for another shot. At 8 seconds they fired another burst. As the dust settled, everyone rushed to check the outcome of their handiwork. Visually, it appears very clear that the target has been hit. The balloon appears to be deflated and probably sinking, so despite coming down to the wire, the second firing was a resounding success. Everybody breathed a sigh of relief, having accomplished their mission. Su Zhibing was especially happy that the result of the training had paid off. This is one big step towards him becoming a full captain, although to be clear, it remains only one step of the process. Serving on the Type 22 missile attack boat presents major challenges for the crew. First, the small size of the boat makes it highly susceptible to rough seas, meaning seasickness is a common issue, especially for new recruits. To overcome this, crew members undergo intense training to build their tolerance, enabling them to function effectively in a combat situation even when the boat is thrown around by the waves. Handling weapons on such a fast, agile and potentially unstable vessel requires precision and a calm head, particularly in poor weather and when under pressure. Firing the boat's CIWS during live exercises can be difficult because the vessel moves with the waves and the target is constantly shifting as well. This means that hitting a moving target can often come down to timing and luck. In addition to experience and skill, the process for engaging an incoming missile or aircraft will be more automated and guided by fire control radar.